What's up, everybody? Let's talk Jets radio. Quick video here. Hope everybody watched Hard Knocks last night. Might have been my favorite episode of the series so far. Definitely the best 2.5-minute segment with Aaron Rodgers, going right at Jihad Ward. It just illustrates legitimately like the kind of change that this guy has brought to the Jets. And I don't know if anybody else could have did it. And, I hate to, keep rehashing the whole Carr debates from back, in January. But this is why I wanted Rodgers. This is why I wanted the top guy. And this is why I felt like for an organization like the Jets that have struggled for so long, that have been the little brother to the Giants and second fiddle to the Patriots and all these other teams, this is why I wanted so desperately for the Jets to go out and get the guy like Aaron Rodgers, because he was the only guy out there, in my opinion, that legitimately changes your entire culture. Even a Lamar Jackson, as good as he is, younger, gives you maybe a longer window. In spite of all of that, he still does not have the kind of respect that Aaron Rodgers commands instantly. The second he joined this locker room, his presence in that huddle, you could see it with all the players. Michael Carter going up to him. He didn't know you, bro? Come on, shit. Like, you see it with every player, how they gravitate towards him. But what's even more special, I think, that not many of us expected, is how he's gravitated towards Becton and so many other players, where he's taken on that leadership role. He's embraced it. Like, everything that we heard about this guy being a diva and, not showing up to OTAs, being all about himself, all these things that were supposedly true, according to the mainstream media, as it turns out, it was more of a situation of a player that just needed a change of scenery more than anything else. Because this guy is absolutely a leader. He's fiery. He gets pissed off when things aren't going right. You saw that with the early practice, when they were showing the footage where, the offense was struggling. Like, this guy puts emphasis on every single rep. Every practice means something. And, that's how you build a championship contender. That's how you win consistently in this league. So, you want to point to, his playoff record. The guy can't do it alone. And you could definitely look at the Packers and some of those rosters and say, were they legitimately equipped to go win a Super Bowl, or did they just have an elite quarterback who was carrying them as far as they went without a legitimate roster surrounding him? Now, there were some players, they had some players here and there, but you can look at the Jets roster and where they're at right now. And I'm not going to compare Jets and Packers, but, just speaking about the Jets rosters that I've seen in my lifetime, this probably is as good as it gets. You can't look at any other team that the Jets have had. I'm going back to '88. You can't look at any other Jets roster since then and say that there was a better quarterback. Vinny had a great year. Chad had some good years. None of them are close to the level of Aaron Rodgers. And to have a 1-2 punch like Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall. I love Curtis Martin, Hall of Fame back, but he never had that number. Like Lamont Jordan, he was good. LT and Sean Green, that was solid, but LT was a little bit more towards the end of his career then. Thomas Jones had a few good years, but they never had a 1-2 punch like Hall and Cook. And even Michael Carter as a number 3 is pretty damn good. So, and then a number 1 like Garrett Wilson, who's already as good as any receiver as I can remember seeing in my lifetime. The way this guy runs routes, the way he gets off the line of scrimmage, the way he gets the ball in the air, uses his hands, just precision route running, speed, yards after the catch, making guys miss. I can't remember anybody that I've seen that does it at his level, especially this early in his career, just entering year 2. And then you go to the defensive side of the ball, and I've seen a lot of people talk about the Rex Ryan defenses, which, I hate to say it because I love Rex and I love those defenses. They were awesome to watch, but they often melted down in the fourth quarter, and their biggest problem was that they could never get pressure unless they blitzed. So they often had to send 5, 6, 7 guys in order to get there, which is why they needed Revis to be on his island. Especially in 2009, where they didn't have Cromartie opposite him. So even in 2010 when they had Cromartie, you still had a front 7 that had Calvin Pace, Brian Thomas, Sione Buha, Sean Ellis, David Harris, Bart Scott, all great players, great against the run, but relatively slow. Not exactly the most athletic group, right? So they were a force up front. They were a good front seven, but you didn't have that elite pass rusher. And Quinnen Williams is by far, I think, better than all those guys. I think Jermaine Johnson has some incredible potential as well. I just think they are so deep with what they have as pass rushers. Not even talking about Bryce Huff and JFM, and they are loaded. And then you factor in Sauce and Reed too on the back end. And if Tony Adams emerges, if Mekhi Becton stays healthy, the only thing that I think could take this team down is the offensive line. Otherwise, I legitimately think, for the 35 years I've been alive, this is as much talent on a Jets team as I can remember. And, for any Packer fans that want to compare, I would argue, I don't know as much about all those Packer teams. They had Devontae for a number of years, some years with Clay Matthews and guys like that were pretty damn good. But top to bottom, I just feel like this Jets roster, there is no reason why they can't make a deep run in the playoffs and actually compete for a Super Bowl. So I'm fired up. I'm excited. Clearly, feeling the juice from that episode of Hard Knocks last night. I'm heading out to Bolero in a little bit. Going to grab some Fireman Ed beer. So hopefully I'll see you guys September 11th. Talk to you later.